of Economics Club, and member of the Spanish Club. Plans after college. Find a job in the financial services industry. Next is Jessie Braddock. Her major is education and psychology interdisciplinary. Hometown, Brownsville, Pennsylvania. College activities include tennis team, equipment manager for the football team, Phi Mu Beta Nu sorority, where she held positions of sisterhood manager, and currently membership director and social chairman. Plans after college. Going to grad school to earn a master's degree in special education. She is escorted by Bryce Rubaugh. Environmental science. His major is environmental science. Hometown, Rittman, Ohio. College activities include football and Alpha Sigma Pi. Plans after college. Acquire a job in his field as soon as possible after graduation. Next is Zoe Woods. Social work with a minor in criminal justice. Hometown, Washington, Pennsylvania. College activities, Alpha Zeta Delta sorority, equestrian team, Phi Alpha Honor Society, president of Social Awareness Club, vice president of Equine Club, member of Senior Class Council. Plans after college. Plans to pursue a master's degree in social work, to become a child advocate, or attend law school to work towards a law degree and become an attorney in the family courts. She is escorted by Jose Arjeta. His major is accounting. Hometown, Fredericksburg, Virginia. College activities include Spanish Club and Phi Kappa fraternity. Plans after college. Getting his CPA.
Aren't they supposed to come on our ears?
Next is Sydney Freeman. Major, RAACE. Hometown, St. Clairsville, Ohio. Activities, 1-year member of basketball team, ran track for a year, ball girl for the football team, manager for the football team, member of Phi Mu, where she held positions as philanthropy chairman, membership director, and currently the academic chairman. Plans after college. She plans to attend graduate school in either sports counseling or psychology to earn her master's. One day she would like to achieve her dream job of an academic athletic director. She is escorted by Brandon Sibley. His major is sports management. He is from McKinney, Texas. College activities include football team member, Alpha Sigma Phi member. After college, he plans to move back home and go to grad school for a master's degree. Next is Olivia Archer. She's a political science and psychology major. Hometown, Wheeling, West Virginia. College activities include Kalon Scholar, resident assistant, president of Zeta Tau Alpha. Plans after college. Plans to go to law school or take a gap year to work in Pittsburgh. She's escorted by Kyle Goodwin. His major is computer science. Hometown, Parkersburg, West Virginia. College activities, Bethany baseball, Kalon Scholar, and he is a resident assistant. Plans after college. Find a job. Thank you to everyone in the student body who voted for the 2020 Homecoming King and Queen. Finally, it is time to announce our winners. First, your king. Your 2020 Homecoming King is Brandon Sibley. Braylon. Now for your queen. Your 2020 Homecoming Queen is Taylor Naples. The crown matches her outfit. Give a big round of applause for all the candidates and your 2020 King and Queen, Braylon Sibley and Taylor Naples.
Congratulations again to our homecoming court.
It has been a tumultuous 350 days since the Bison last played a football game here at Bison Stadium, and boy, have times changed. Due to the COVID-19 global pandemic that is sweeping the world, our day-to-day lives have been changed forever. In 2020, the names Breonna Taylor and George Floyd tragically became engraved in our hearts due to the heinous acts of police brutality against them. But we're here today to take your minds away from the real world and bring you Bethany Bison football, courtesy of the Bethany Broadcasting Network, streamed live on YouTube. Hi, folks. I'm Liddell Willingham, and I'm pleased to be joined by my broadcast partner, the special legend of Bethany Bison alumni, Carlo Guat. We're just going to call him the Dingo. What's going on, Carlo?
Just another day here. Thanks for having me.
As we get set to kick off the first annual green and white scrimmage here at Bison Stadium, and Carlo, the Bison have had to deal with an unprecedented set of circumstances due to COVID, and as a result will not be playing a full season. Considering the circumstances, how beneficial
Hi,
is it for the
everyone.
players to have this
Congratulations
opportunity today?
again to the homecoming
with a young
court for
roster that
2020.
the Bison have, I think getting the extra time in the fall to kind of figure out what pieces are where, I think should benefit them when it comes time for spring and the season to start.
Yeah, and it was a lot of attrition this past spring for the Bison. They graduated a host of household names that you've heard on these airwaves the last 4 years, guys like Keandre Murphy, Michael Berry, Abraham Lyles, Hunter Klein, guys like that who have been the stalwarts for this program over the last 4 seasons. A changing of the guard, so to speak, as we'll see the white team get the ball here first as they're going to simulate the opening kickoff here. And let's give the viewers a little bit of the rules rundown here while we have a second here. Offense and defensive scrimmage here. So it'll be the first team offense against the first team defense, second team offense, second team defense, and so forth. Here is the scoring breakdown. Touchdowns for the offense, 6 points. Field goals, 3 points. Extra points, 1 point. Here's the difference. Third down conversions for the offense, they receive a point. Fourth down conversions for the offense, they receive 2 points. An explosive play, a play deemed 25 yards or longer, will get 1 point. So if they get 3 or more, if they convert 3 or more third downs on a single drive, no more than 3 points. They cap out there. Defensively, the points, touchdown, gets them 10 points. A takeaway, 5 points. Tackle for loss or a sack, 3 points. Third down stop, 2 points. Fourth down stop, 3 points. If they force a field goal inside of the red zone, they'll also get 4 points. As we'll get the first team guys for both units coming out here. An interesting decision here from Coach Garvey. They'll go with junior quarterback Dom Salinatro as a starter here. Salinatro last year, 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions as he split time with first-team all-conference quarterback Carlin Basin.
On a lot of big difference between Basin is Basin's was a mobile guy. He put his foot in the ground, and if he didn't see anything, he could create. Salinatro. I wanted to make sure I said it right. You know, I have that problem as well with the last name that I have. More of a pocket quarterback, can throw the ball around, but not really gonna wow you with his legs.
Be an outside zone handoff to sophomore Colton Stoneman, and he'll be met by another sophomore, Dadrick Vickers, the reigning defending PAC Freshman of the Year.
Well, and a huge year for Vickers last year, and it's good. It's interesting you bring up sophomore. I think that's pretty much you're going to hear that a lot here in the coming spring when the season starts, as the Bison only have 2 or 3 seniors.
Salinatro drop back to pass for the first time. Ball outside wide, intended for the freshman Xavier Morris. He's another local guy.
Interesting. I'm not sure what missed there. Almost there was a miscommunication because it seemed that the ball was where it was supposed to be.
Yeah, Bison will line up, trips to the right of the formation. It's McWhorter, Smith, and Foster. Foster, the freshman, lined up to the far right. Salinatro will be flanked in the backfield by Colton Stoneman. It'll be a third down here. Salinatro drop back, looking, it's nearly picked off.
Oh, my.
A ball that went right through the hands of Brennan Smith.
Be some push-ups to do at practice after that.
Yeah, freshman linebacker making his presence felt.
Great read. Great read for a
definitely
freshman.
a great read. So defensively here, they get a third down stop. So I don't get 2 points for the defense. And it looks like
2 on the board. Looks
like they're going to flip the field here.
So we're calling that as if it would have been a punt, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and you saw on that drive 2 passes in a run. Interesting early on is Coach Garvey trying to get Salinatro into a rhythm here. It's been a shaky start for Salinatro. I've been at most of the practices so far to this point. Right now, I think with the issues that the offense is having is they got a lot of new guys at receiver. It's a whole new group, and right now the timing is just not there. And normally when you start, the defense is going to be ahead of the offense. You're able to play faster, less thinking, less responsibility. But it'll be interesting to see how this offense moves throughout the day.
And that's you brought it up at the beginning. It's been a long time it's a whole different ballgame of practice, and obviously this is a scrimmage. You're still seeing the same guys, but there's a little bit more to what you're doing today because it's almost that live action feel.
And the offense will maintain possession and
Quarterback
come out
change.
with the second team. Quarterback Marquise Robinson, he's able to throw a screen pass outside. That'll pick up 8. And that's something you've noticed in practice here, the command that Marquise Robinson has with this offense. Sophomore cat, came in as a wide receiver, ended up moving the quarterback a couple games into the season. Big thing for him this offseason was to get that playbook down. He's done it. You see he's a guy that's smaller in stature, but he gives you that dynamic dual threat option at quarterback that Salinatro doesn't.
Well, it seems to get the ball out of his hands quick as he
ball on the ground.
And he's going to create something there. That's a heck of a recovery for
heads up play
for
Robinson there. That time he was trying to hand it inside to Rob Taylor, number 10, the freshman running back out of Maryland, prior to Northwestern High School. Be a third down and about 5 for the Bison offensively.
And defensively, the Bison really have not been tested early in this scrimmage here. So I'd like to see how this develops.
High snap for Robinson. The play's going to get blown dead. It's going to be recovered by sophomore Jordan Aldridge. Yeah, and that's what this is supposed to be for, to get these type of mistakes out of your system. That time a high snap.
So we'll call that 5 points for the green shirts.
For the defense, and we'll call it a takeaway.
Now, are we getting another quarterback change? Nope. Okay.
Yep, they're going to go back to Salinatro. And, not to make any type of controversy or anything like that, but through these practices so far, it has not been clear who the number 1 guy has been. Salinatro's received most of the first-team reps, but you talk to guys within the program, there are a lot of guys in Marquise Robinson's corner.
Well, let's talk about what camp has been because it wasn't your prototypical camp, obviously. With this being homecoming 2020 here at Bethany College, you'd assume, nobody would have assumed we'd be sitting here in an empty stadium playing against each other. So and I think that's part of this. There's been so many protocols put in that it's still going to take that timing has to come back.
Outside handoff to Rob Taylor. Taylor turns the corner. Taylor down the left sideline. Rob Taylor knocked out at about the 45-yard line.
I'm going to bring that one back.
And that's how you pop.
I'm going to bring that one back. There was Holden down there on the edge.
We're going to get a hold. And Carlo didn't want to cut you off, but that was the first time we've seen the transitioned tight end, Tim Mickens, in there anchoring that left side, the former left tackle from a season ago. The freshman out of Florida made some changes to his body. They made changes to this offense. They decided, hey, why don't we throw you a tight end, big boy?
And he should become a prime target in the pass game as well as the physicality that he brings as being a tackle and knowing the blocking scheme and the running scheme.
Yeah, let's speak a little bit more here on Rob Taylor as you saw what he's able to do when he gets the ball in his hands. It's the quick twitch that I think separates him. He's the only running back in that running back room with his body type, his mold, his skill set. The other guys are some more hammer-you-down, bruiser type of backs. Rob Taylor, a type of guy that can get it done in the passing game as well as the running game.
Well, it showed there. Get him on the edge, and it could be dangerous.
Salinatro looking, throwing, had Sirhan Smith down the left seam. Ball a little bit high. It's incomplete. And that's what they.
And then again, that just goes back to that timing thing. Is that, like I was saying before the previous play, with all the protocols, at first you could only do the small groups, then it was the medium groups. They've only really been on the field together
about a month.
So
that time screen pass inside Xavier Morris. Morris making some guys miss. He'll finally be brought down at about the 48-yard line. And Morris, another one of these freshmen, trying to throw their hat in the mix here at wide receiver. It's a deep group, headlined by juniors Chris Williams and Daniel Thomas, both of whom not on the field right now. Chris Williams dealing with an injury, won't be playing today.
And that was more, natural of the Bethany offense what we just saw there, where it's very quickly get to the line on first down and maybe looking for the quick out. It looked like.
And this is the thing that hurts so much from not having a training camp, especially when you're making a transition. Where you've had a guy that's been the starter the last 2 years, talking about Carlin Basin. Mm-hmm. Now you're transitioning to hand the keys over to Salinatro, not having the benefit of the full training camp and getting to work with these cast of weapons for as long as he would normally get to. You'll see the throw right there to Sirhan Smith, a little high. Just got to get some timing down. Be a second and long. Ball security again an issue. It's another turnover for this Bison defense.
And that'll bring that score up to 12, just for the folks at home that are trying to keep up. That'll put the score up there to 12-0 in favor of the green shirts, going here with the hybrid scoring system that we are.
Yeah, and this green group, talking about this Bison defense, a lot of different characters lined up out there for them this year. You got guys returning like Bryce Rohrbar, Muhammad Lola, Dadrick Vickers, Keon Thompson, but the stalwarts of this defense for the last 4 years no longer a part of the group, talking about guys like Big Daniel Gibson, Keandre Murphy, Michael Berry, guys in the secondary like Phil Taylor, Anthony Fiasco. And talking to Coach Arnold off the record a couple times, he said, I get to earn my paycheck this year, more teaching than ever as he's had to do. And what better of a teacher would you rather have than Coach Arnold, former 6th-round draft pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers, former big blue guy over at Michigan. So they're in good hands, these young pups.
Yeah, and for the Buckeye fans out there, that's that team up north. I know we got to make sure we cover all of our bases. I am not a Buckeye fan though, just so we want. I don't want people to get confused.
I don't root for a college football team either, man.
I root for the Bison
all the time.
I root for the Bison.
That time it was an outside handoff from Robinson.
It's real interesting that, as we've seen this early on here in the first quarter of this scrimmage. Not really anything out of the ordinary from what the normal play calls have been. It seems that Coach Garb is still staying with that. This is what we're going to run. You know what we're going to run. Stop us.
And that stop was made inside by the big freshman, Nathan Rouse. Guy who they have high expectations coming from high school here, expected to contribute here early on in his freshman campaign. Be another third down here for the Bison. Robinson again at quarterback. We'll have trips to the right of the formation. Robinson dropping back, looking, throwing. Robinson will have to elude the pocket. Robinson scrambling, tries to check it down to the running back. Ball comes up short. That'll be another third down stop for this Bison defense.
Right idea. That will bring the score to 14 for those folks at home. Hey, I'm trying to keep up with the score.
Hey, I understand, but I don't think the score
is
really
just
indicative of what we're out here really trying to see here today. I think the big thing and the reason they set this all up, they got to see these young guys compete.
Yeah, you got to get them in this type of environment where you're going to play. This is, I believe, we're playing a half of football today, and it's just let's see what we have and let's see how they react in certain situations. That's what I was getting at with Coach Garvey's offense, is that it's good for this offense that it's getting the same look. It's very, the repetition is there. And that's kind of the way Coach Garb's offense works, is you have to be willing to, you got to know you're going to run the ball through the tackles and outside a lot with those short screens and whatnot.
The freshman come in for the first time, Jaron Robinson.
Oh, and a delay of game to start his.
And that's what you want to see, your young freshman quarterback coming in here. How does he control the huddle? How does he get the guys lined up? That time, a boo-boo there from the freshman Robertson on his first snap. Inside handoff is stuffed right away.
And the Bison defense just seems to be getting, this sideline seems to be getting a little louder as this quarter has gone on. And it seems that it didn't take for the young defense. There doesn't seem to be a very long transition period here. It seems that people are starting to pick up where their blitzes are and where their coverage is.
Boy, and for the third time here today, we've seen a high snap or an issue between that quarterback-center exchange. I mean, this is a real one. That might have led to 6, Carlo.
Yeah, I think that one, and if this is a regular game, that's definitely a potential for 6.
Now, right now, we're seeing most of the young pups along the offensive line here.
And that's good. You got to get them to work. Got to get them to live work.
Got some vets out there, though, too, as well at the receiver spot. Davon McWhorter lined up on the outside, the sophomore pride of Wheeling Park High School, another local guy.
And especially with the COVID, you're probably going to see a lot more local guys make their appearances here in Bethany in the coming years.
Phew. That pass was intended for Devon Campbell. But Tyron Crowder right there, and another special story to see junior safety Tyron Crowder able to get healthy and back out here after he missed all of last season with an ACL injury.
And looks to be in fairly good shape for. It's not normally it's normally an injury you come away from, and there might be an extra little bit of weight gain, but it looks like.
Yeah, he looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Stalky kid, physical presence, played a lot his freshman campaign. I believe his standout game as a freshman was a home game against Westminster, where he got his first career start, and you saw right then in that game, he's a guy that's physical, fast, and loves to attack the ball carrier.
Well, as you watch him here as he come off the field, he's not satisfied with just the pass breakup, thinking he could have had a pick there, and a little frustrated with himself. And that's something you love to see, the passion there for his position.
Definitely, and we'll see Dom Salinatro come back out, as well as his first team offense. Salinatro take it. Salinatro pump, looking, throwing. Salinatro got a wide open receiver down the left sideline. That time it's Xavier Morris once again.
And that was just a beautifully placed ball. And as we see again, here comes the white offense getting a first down, and here we go. It's going to be that rapid offense.
Freshman on freshman crime as Morris beat the other freshman, Dante Taylor, on the left sideline. Inside handoff once again stuffed. That time it was a host of Bison defenders. Sebastian Vereen, the first one there, the big freshman, number 99. And he's a guy. You know, they've got a lot of competition along this defensive front. Talking about those down 4 guys here on the first team, and this kid right here is Sebastian Vereen. Definitely, etching his name and trying to throw his hat in the mix. See if he can play some interior defensive line for Coach Arnold's group.
And a big boy. I mean, you can see him. He kind of
Looks
towers.
College football
yeah.
already. Salinatro taking the snap again. Plenty of time. Takes the check down. This time is Karan Foster, freshman receiver out of Surrattsville, Maryland. He's a guy that they think has a lot of potential. And you look at his big, long, wiry frame. They haven't had a receiver like that. Last year we had Hunter Klein with that big frame, but before that it's been a lot of the quick twitch, smaller guys in Coach Garvey's offense.
Well, in Salinatro, they're really, really nice going through the progression and seeing the cross come underneath and just getting the ball to his wide receiver and letting him make a play.
And that's what they want to see Salinatro do. They wanted him to act as more as a distributor with the football, be the point guard, get the ball to your guys that can make plays.
Free play here.
Ooh. That time Salinatro incomplete. Try to get it to John Harum. See what the flag is on the play. Not your usual cast of officials.
No.
We've got athletic director Steve Thompson and co-athletic director Mike Worrell reffing this one as we are here at the first annual green and white scrimmage You're on homecoming 2020. Not your usual set of circumstances here for homecoming, but we'll take something.
Hey, I'll take it. I'll take anything over nothing.
Be a first down for the Bison. Changing personnel in as we'll see Sirhan Smith and Devon McWhorter check back in. Sirhan Smith, a guy who I've had my eyes on, sophomore out of Cleveland, Ohio, has had a nice camp to this point, making plays consistently. Salinatro pumping, plenty of
pump
time.
fake again.
Salinatro skyrocketing ball, McWhorter in the end zone, and it's caught.
And that's probably it's really two passes through that whole drive. That's the best drive that we've seen from the Bison offense, and that as you talked about earlier, that timing seems to be in game time coming into this again. As I said, that second pump fake, it was just it's what he does.
Yeah, you see how comfortable he was. That time, a beautiful pocket created by this Bison offensive line. But the bigger story here on this Bison drive, maybe number 14, freshman Xavier Morris.
And that's a beautiful catch with two guys draped on you.
Yeah, ball a little bit underthrown. Had to do a nice job coming back and adjusting to the football. But Morris has been a guy this coaching staff has been extremely high on throughout these early weeks of camp, continually making plays.
The extra point is no good. But a lot of good in that drive. And as you pointed out, the freshman wide receiver, the junior quarterback, who on the touchdown pass looked very comfortable, had a little bit of pressure and just kind of stood in and made it was a good throw, and a great catch from the freshman receiver, Morris.
Interesting to see here how Salinatro has handled his first few drives here. First time he's been the unquestioned starter in his young career. Junior cat was splitting snaps last year with Carlin Basin, but now it's his show, and that time on that throw to Morris.
And you pointed out there's a little bit of there's going to be a little nerves when you're talking. You're coming in and replacing a guy that was an all-conference quarterback. That's part of the game of football, but it's still like you said, this is his first start. This is the first time coming into camp that it's probably his job to lose. And he makes throws like that come the spring. I don't see anybody taking the job from him.
Yes, 5-game spring season slated to happen throughout the President's Athletic Conference. The athletic directors and high-ranking officials around each school were able to come up with a 5-game schedule. Guaranteed 4 games, 2 home games, 2 away games. I believe the Bison will open up their season against Waynesburg.
Yeah, I believe, aren't they doing it regionally? Well, you're going to do those northern schools, the Teal, the West Mini, Grove Cities. They'll be up in their little side of the division, and then there'll be, I'm assuming, us, W&J, Waynesburg, maybe St. Vincent and Geneva.
Yeah, they actually open up. Talking about the Bison in that 5-game spring season, they open up at home against St. Vincent. They travel to Waynesburg for the second week. Schools they split with the season ago. They were able to beat Waynesburg in week 3, and they lost the season finale in disappointing fashion, to say the least, week 10 against St. Vincent. And that's the last taste of football this Bison football team has in their mouth. That gut-wrenching defeat on the road against St. Vincent in a game that they were just simply the better team, but they didn't come out and play like it.
And that coming in with, I'm sure there was from the guys that I through social media and whatnot, you see the guys that were working. I'm sure that's left a bad taste in their mouth, and all the better if it's especially on that green side of the ball, if you have a lot of people that are real irritated going into game 1.
Marquise Robinson in the pistol formation. Give an inside zone handoff. We go to the freshman running back. Number 2, Karan Barr.
That was a hard run. That was a hard earn to what would we say, 4 yards, 5 yards there?
Yeah.
Hard earn. I mean, he had two Bison draped on his back, and he was moving.
Barr bouncing it outside again, but cannot get out of the outstretched arms of Bryce Rohrball. A guy who's got high expectations coming into his senior campaign. 6.5 sacks a season ago. for Aurora Ball, the Mountain Union transfer. And ever since he's touched foot on this campus, he's brought some of those winning ways from Mountain Union here to this Bison program. And not often do you see a transfer guy coming to be a leader right away.
No, and Bryce has that ability, and if you've talked to him.
Ball's picked off. Are they going to blow it dead?
They're going to blow it dead and say it was a sack, but does not take away from what the fans at home saw. That was one heck of an interception. And
Danny Gilbert, senior safety, one of the two seniors on this Bison roster, making the diving interception.
And we're going to flip this. We're going to flip the script again and go back the other way.
More on Danny Gilbert here. He's in a hotly contested competition at the safety spot with Karan McLaughlin out of Cleveland, the sophomore. But talking to Coach Dave Arnold, I mean, he's got some young guys in that DB room, which they're fast, they're physical, and they're ready to go.
And having a young group in the secondary has in the last couple of years really actually benefited the Bison, in the sense that by the time they're juniors or seniors, it's no questions asked. Let's go. I know where I'm supposed to be. I know what I'm supposed to do. And pointing out that the reigning PAC Freshman of the Year
comes from the secondary.
He did pretty well. He did pretty well.
Talking about Dodger Vickers, 7 interceptions a year ago.
Tying Dalton Freeman, who was another.
Here comes Marquise Robinson.
Oh,
Here's
he's
the
got
ability
space.
he makes. So he'll get about 14 on the keeper. Notice the quarterbacks in the red jerseys, no contact allowed for them. But boy, Robinson, contact or not.
Contact or not, I don't know.
Pick up that first down.
Yeah, contact wasn't going to help.
That time he had the defensive end fooled.
There was a big bite.
Freshman Jaheim Colbert biting down. Robinson again getting outside the pocket. Robinson throwing on the run. Ball juggled and caught. It's Daniel Thomas.
And that was a nice way, fighting back to the ball and winning the hand battle.
It's what you expect out of your veteran receiver of this group. Thomas getting some work with Marquise Robinson here. And so far, so good here.
So another good drive for the Bison offense.
Robinson again getting on the outside. Robinson tries to cut it back up inside, and they'll blow it dead on the first sound of contact. But one thing I noticed about Robinson is how smart he is and his ability to read that defensive end and know when to pull and know when to keep.
And this is good from a guy that you said he's a converted wide receiver to a quarterback. You're talking here, it's third and manageable. I don't think we've seen in this drive a third and long. And that's exactly what you want out of your quarterback, is to be able to be in these situations.
Robinson inside, handoff, and it's stuffed. First guy there, big number 95, Sean McClurg, the freshman.
And that there was just a horde of Bison. There's just a lot of people there.
And so far, so good. For this young defensive line, we mentioned it here in the opener, how many guys that graduated off of this defensive line, and not just regular every down starters. We're talking all PAC performers.
Mm-hmm.
Guys like Chaz Blango, Daniel Gibson, losing them up front. Wanted to see here early on how they would be tested here by this Bison offensive line that's got most of its starters returning.
Interesting call here for Coach Garber. Is he going to go for it on fourth down?
Robinson, throw out into the flat. It'll be a first down. He completed it to John Hare.
Oh, and the late flag comes in on the shove on the sideline over there.
They're going to get a late hit. We'll advance the football 15 more yards.
And at the end of the day, that is your teammate and everything, but it's still a football game. You're still gonna. There can be a shove or two, or a little bit maybe late contact. It's going to happen. It's part of the game.
Robinson and the Bison offense will start this drive on the fringe of the red zone.
Interested here with about 42 minutes and 44 seconds left in the quarter, if we'll see an early attempt at a 2-minute offense to get both quarterbacks used to making that rush.
Robinson able to elude some pressure. Robinson being chased down. Robinson will turn the left corner and pick up a couple. As he was getting chased from the freshman Franklin Heraldez.
And still a great way to pick up positive yards. This has been a very confidence boosting drive for Robinson.
Yeah, I think he's been efficient. He's been good with his decisions with the football, and they preach the same thing that Robinson has to do to silent intro. Be the point guard. Dish the ball out. As Nathan Rouse.
Wow, quickly.
Put a move on big number 69, Keon Corpuz. Nathan Rouse making his presence felt. He's got a fumble recovery, tackle for loss, and a would-be sack.
And that was
second down.
That was a Daniel Gibson move there. There was a nice little bit of finesse. I mean, almost a Nadeem Radar if you want to go that far back.
For a long time listener.
No club action though. It was just the spin. But wow, spin cycle.
Third down for Robinson in the offense. Low snap. Robinson able to control it. Robinson will take a deep shot. Robinson intended for Daniel Thomas. Ball was broken up. That time it was Tacoma Whiteside, the freshman corner, getting a lot of action here.
Now, just a little bit underthrown. That's a good battle down there. If you're on the offense, you want your receiver to come away with it. And obviously, Coach Arnold's probably going to have something to say about it was in your hands. It should have been going the other way.
Mm-hmm. See a substitution here at wide receivers. Freshman Maurice Brown checking in for the tight end. Robinson on fourth down. Robinson takes the snap. Robinson takes the shot over the middle of the field.
Oh.
Pass is broken up. That time intended for Ben Powell.
Broken up by Markel Ross. Mr.
Markel Ross, the freshman defensive back.
And it was meet the ball and separate ball from player. It was great. That's what you want to see out of a young secondary. And again, I guess we'll keep going back to that young secondary. It's a young room, but
clearly able to make some plays out here. More on the pass though for Marquise Robinson. Kudos to him standing down there looking the gun down the barrel and firing that ball to Powell. That's the ball Powell's got to come up with.
That was a beautifully timed pass. I mean, it was right there.
It was great.
Powell come out of his break, and I mean he had enough time to put his hands up, but that was right. If you want to pass for timing route like that, that's exactly what you're looking for.
We'll see Jaron Robinson, the freshman, back out of quarterback for the Bison. Inside handoff to big Colton Stoneman as well. I believe that's his first carry of the contest. And get used to seeing that sight, him barreling over defenders as we've seen it in practice here for the last month.
I like to see it. He found that hole, and then he got what he needed, and then moved down to where can I run somebody over? And,
Stoneman, dual sport athlete, a member of the Bethany Bison baseball team as well. You want to talk about a guy who seeks contact.
Yeah, that's what it looked
Number
like.
34, Colton Stoneman is your guy. Robinson giving out instructions at the line of scrimmage here. Trying to get these guys lined up. Robinson will take the snap. Robinson looking. Ball incomplete. Try to go out in the flats to the fullback, Najee Boyd.
And interesting for the freshman. I'm watching the play clock as he's the only quarterback thus far out of the group that really lets that play clock run down. I mean, there's not a hurry to his. It's a relaxing pace for him. It seems, but the last two plays, he snapped the ball at about 2 seconds. With the young team, could end up really benefiting the Bison because that time of possession thing. If you can keep the offense, best way to stop an offense, keep them off the field. Yeah, here we go again. There's another. He snaps it at 2.
Robinson deep ball. It's picked. Nearly intercepted. That one ended up being dropped. Eric Moselle.
A lot of push-ups for this secondary. There's going to be a lot of push-ups to do.
Definitely, but one thing Coach Arnold can be pleased with is their ability to put themselves in the position to make the play.
They are, and they time and time again. I mean, there's not even for the offense's touchdown. It was a great play from the receiver, a well thrown ball, and there's not much you can do with that. But the secondary has looked really well. The defensive line has looked really well. The linebacking group has looked really. There's a pep in their step. 14 seconds left here in the first quarter of this, and I guess
get a look here at what projects to be the first team secondary. Lined up in the deep post is senior Danny Gilbert along with junior Tyron Crowder. At your cornerback spots, you got one of the best tandems, in my opinion, in the PAC returning. Talking about Dadrick Vickers and Keon Thompson.
And they both had a very phenomenal year last year. As you mentioned, Crowder coming off the injury, and we saw the diving interception from Thomas.
Salanatro takes another shot down the field. Vickers step for step with Thurhan Smith able to get his hands on the football.
And a nice little flick of the wrist there to break that up.
Just like it's just that easy. That's what happens.
I've seen it.
When you're the reigning, defending PAC Freshman of the Year.
And a lot comes with that as well. I mean, there's going to be people are going to target him. It's going to be a thing. And if I was a coach in the PAC, that's probably the last guy I want to throw the ball at.
Salanatro back to pass again. Salanatro stepping up, and he's going to get sacked. That time they'll credit Evan Wachter with the sack.
And he's a little fired up.
And that'll bring us to the end of our first period, we'll call it.
Sacked by number 91, Walker.
Pretty evenly battled, evenly contested matchup here so far. The offense starting to find some life as we got further along in that period. But defensively, they came out sharp.
I felt that the defense really had they came out to make a point of it's the green shirts world. White's just living in it. But as you progress through that first period, a lot of good things from the offensive side that came to light as the comfortability and the timing seemed to really work out in the Bison favor, and that was on that specifically on the scoring drive and the last drive that we saw Robinson in at quarterback.
Now, one thing I'll be continuing to look at as this scrimmage develops and carries on is we spoke about that young secondary, the combinations that Coach Dave Arnold wants to put in that secondary. As we mentioned, if you followed the stream on Twitter, I was talking about yesterday, there's a hotly contested battle at the free safety spot between Danny Gilbert and sophomore Kawan McLaughlin. And so far, it's been Danny Gilbert taking most of the first team snaps here with this secondary. Another guy I'm excited to see too, man, the return of Tyron Crowder.
Mm-hmm.
Salanatro, another deep shot. Salanetro's got McWhorter just off the fingertips as Danny Gilbert was coming over the top to make his presence felt on the play as well.
And I think Salanatro there saw that Gilbert had already made his move that way, and he tried to put it a little bit more. I mean, he tried to put it where only his receiver was going to be able to get it, but Gilbert, he covered a lot of ground very, very, very quickly.
And that's the strength of Danny Gilbert, his ability to cover ground. A really fast guy in the secondary, one of their faster DBs. But Salanatro continuing to try to push the football down the field, something that has been a strength of his since he's entered the program. 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions a year ago. And throwing 10 touchdowns and playing the limited amount of snaps that he did, you got to think, the more sample size we see at Salanatro, only positive things can happen.
The comfortability, I mean, we pointed it out at the end of the period there that he didn't start this scrimmage off very comfortable. He had to get his footing. But every drive that he has come out and worked has been an improved drive from the previous one. And we're seeing a lot of that. He utilizes that pump fake. That ball the way that he throws, it's almost like we said about the flick. It's just kind of a relaxed.
Salanatro screen ball, going to get it to Daniel Thomas. And he's dragged down from behind. That time it's another freshman, Dante Bellardo. Looks like Troy Polamalu out there, doesn't he?
I was wondering what all that hair was. A lot of flow. I don't share the flow, but good for him and a great tackle.
They get a false start on that one as they threw another screen. That time it was out to McWhorter.
And the defense was fully ready for that one.
See what the call is here.
Is that the homecoming king Sibley letting the defense know that you have to be behind this line? You're not allowed to.
Yeah, allowed to cross over into our territory.
I heard a big clap and looked, and yeah, that is exactly who that was. Another one of the upperclassmen. I mean, we talk about how this is a young team. It's a very junior run program right now. So there's going to be growing pains through all of this.
Salinatro once again to Rob Taylor and a nice finish.
I like that. Lower that shoulder and get a couple
extra.
White
sideline by Rob Taylor, dipping his shoulder and making his presence felt.
And once again, Salinatro has this offense on the move.
Yes, he does. And it's interesting to see, when the spring season does start, how this running back room shakes out. Because I've been a huge fan of Rob Taylor. And like we mentioned, just the change of pace that he brings, getting on the edge and using his speed. Here goes Taylor again. Taylor. Another
Stays
tough
up.
run.
I like that. Put your hand on the ground and stay up. Good job.
Rob Taylor finding another 6 yards. That time it was a good block on the edge. That time big number 74, Chandler King, the twin of Caleb King, 2 sophomores that have a lot of expectations coming in to their second season. They also dealt with a little bit of attrition last year, so they weren't able to contribute a lot, but they love the size of these big kids, and that was a nice block that time, getting Rob Taylor on the edge.
Well, in the running back room, if you're going to have this 1-2 punch of get Taylor to the outside, and what was Colton
Stoneman,
get him balling through people, it's going to be the offense is going to be a problem for some of these defenses. It's been a while, as you pointed out, for the bowling ball-esque running back. You've for the last couple of years have had more speed, put your foot in the ground and go type guys, and that's a completely different offense to prepare for than the offense that we're seeing here today.
Time another inside handoff, and it was stuffed. That time looked like a little bit of indecision there between the quarterback and running back about whether who's going to take it.
It might have been a little bit of habeas grabus there.
Jalen Reeves.
He wanted to hit a hole and run somebody over as well, and he was met by a horde of bison.
Yeah, that's a big thing when playing the running back position, man. Patience. That time you had a pulling guard come and tried to beat him there. It was stuffed. Salinatro again, looking. Throw outside. Guess who? Xavier Morris.
And that's that same throw from the first drive of the game. Where I said I think there was a little bit of a miscommunication where Salinatro wanted to put that ball. That time you saw he broke the route off a little bit earlier, and a nice completion for first down, and the Bison are moving.
Yeah, it's been a strong start here for Salinatro. He's looked more and more comfortable as each drive has gone.
Missed it.
Salinatro forced to escape the pocket. Will take a throw downfield. He had McWhorter on the Bethany White sideline, but it went right through his hand.
And I think when he sees that one on film, he's going to be even more upset because he had McWhorter. He beat his guy one-on-one.
Came back to the ball.
And had to come back to the ball or come back to the quarterback on a scramble. But again, that comes with the timing. You got to get that the timing will come.
So it'll be trips to the right of the formation. We'll have a tight end in the game as well for the Bison. Be another handoff inside. Good cutback. As he is eventually chopped down by Kawan McLaughlin.
And that was good field vision there to see the cutback lane and hit it.
Yeah, Jalen Reeves trying to throw his hat in the mix as well with this running back spot. Another young guy fighting for snaps here. Salinatro again, looking, pumps, throws, deep shot. Salinatro tries Morris again, but he couldn't come up with it.
Well, for a second there, I thought he had it in his hands. I was like, wow, that's a – call ESPN right now.
It's good coverage there, Tacoma Whiteside. Heard his name a few times here throughout the broadcast so far, for good reasons only, though. Another PBU.
And that's, this young secondary room just puts itself in situations that are beneficial for the defense.
Yeah, the big thing Coach Arnold has harped on is the communication between the guys in the secondary. That's where it all starts. It's a nice, hard, physical run.
First down run, number 2, Barr.
That time it was Karan Barr knifing into the teeth of this Bison defense.
Aggressively into that.
Another strong run. An underrated storyline here right now. They're running the football pretty well. This Bison offensive line coming in very young and inexperienced, as you mentioned. No seniors on the group, just junior Braylon Sibley. But they're doing a good job recreating that line of scrimmage down the field for these running backs to get some room. Morris on the tunnel screen. Morris will find the end zone again. This is another Dom Salinatro touchdown.
And that was a beautifully set up screen there. They had it on both sides, and the defense kind of shifted towards the white sideline. And I believe I saw Bryce there reach that. He tried to reach that long arm out as he did earlier in this scrimmage, which resulted in a tackle for him. But that time, no. And Morris finds the end zone again, and a beautifully. That was a great drive if you're looking for what this offense is going to be. There was a confidence of running the ball. We'll go to the pass when we need to, and then the bread and butter, which has been the screen for many moons.
The man they call Legatron, Junior Sean Cole, able to split the uprights for the first time here in 2020. Another weapon that they have on their team.
Big guy.
Sean Cole
Big guy.
Kick the heck out of the football. And it makes it nice, and it's nice to know when you cross the opposing team's 40-yard line that you can potentially be in field goal range every time.
And it's a difference from when I was here as a student calling games. We didn't really have a kicker. We had a lot of 2-point conversions. So
it's nice when you don't have to worry about that, you know.
Yeah, it's something. That's an added part of the game that we and Sean Cole really Legatron. He's got a boot.
I'd say the name is not unworthy.
And just for the fantasy viewers keeping track at home of the points, it's 45-18 in favor of the green shirts. But again, a lot of that really came in that middle of that first period, where the defense was forcing turnovers and forcing 3 and outs basically. But since I would say the fumble down here that we agreed would have probably been a
scoop and score.
It would have been a scoop and score. I think it's been all white. I think the offense has really done a good job of settling down and going through what they need to do to win games.
Yeah, the thing that changes this though for the green shirts defensively, this defensive line has been getting after.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a couple clean pockets here for Salinatro to be able to work through, but a lot of these may have been blown dead, just for the simple fact that pressure is coming from all sides. The interior pressure created by Nathan Rouse, Evan Walker, guys like that doing a good job trying to make Salinatro uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just a scrimmage, so it's the reason they've got on the red jerseys. They are not allowed to be touched, but boy, if he was.
It would have been a long day already.
It would have been a little. White would have got a little dirty.
But at the same time, I'll point out again, like you did on that last drive, that the offensive line seems to be another group that is finding a rhythm. They found, on that last drive specifically, they had found a rhythm. The running game really picked up, and there was some clean pockets there for Salinatro to do what he does.
Robinson. That time it's a tackle for loss. Guess who? Bryce Rohrball.
And you know, I said the defense had been quiet for a little too long, and I guess Bryce Bryce may be listening in down there on the field. He didn't like it.
Rohrbaugh doing a nice job that time screaming off that edge from his left defensive end position. High expectations for the Ohio native, Bryce Rohrbaugh. Definitely going to be a guy who's going to throw his hat in there for PAC Defensive Player of the Year. And once again, Xavier Morris. That time giving a stiff arm on the Bison sideline. And getting up and talking some junk with it as well.
Wow, that was a.
Just
it was
a scrimmage.
mean. It was just a. Remember, you guys were on teammates. Oof.
Daniel Thomas checking in for Xavier Morris. Got Tim Mickens in the tight end spot as well.
And I'm interested to see how they use Mickens. I'm interested to see how they use him with that big frame and the way that he's changed his body type and the ability that he already had being a tackle. You gotta think he's got the hands to be a little bit of a deep threat through that middle.
Yeah, I think he could be the guy that could work some of the intermediate routes and get in the seams of some of these defenses.
When you start making safeties, you have to start making safeties make a decision. Are they going to cover? Are they going to cover the outside guy, or are they going to cover the middle of the field?
Yeah. The time was intended for Karan Foster. More on this offensive line, specifically the tight end position. I got to think, not to drop any dimes here, I got to think that they're not going to put their full packaging of plays on offense here on display.
No.
Just for competitive reasons, and you never know who's going to have their eye on the scrimmage. But that's something that's got to be cleaned up. I don't care if it's regular season, scrimmage, or practice. The ball can't be on the floor.
That's about the fourth time we've seen that, and there just has to be more of a communication between center and quarterback. These are shotgun snaps that are not making it to the quarterback.
This is a team that for the last 4 to 6 years have traditionally run their base offense out of the shotgun, so if they're not able to do it, it causes problems as a play call.
It does. I mean, this isn't an offense that comes from the under center position.
Third in a West Virginia country mile here for Robinson. That time, another issue with the running back quarterback exchange.
And they fooled me because I thought I saw the running back go flying up, and I was like, "Oh my, that's a big hole."
Yeah, man, that means whoever that running back is. Nice job selling your fake, son.
So
Michael Moradia.
We'll switch sides again here with about 7:21 left to play.
Any silver linings here so far?
Well, I think the defense really, you see a young. The youth isn't necessarily going to be a problem for the Bison. I'd like to see a little bit more communication when it comes to the guys on the sideline, to the guys that are dealing with the pass and ball calls. I think the defensive line is going to be a big question mark. Not that there's not players there to fill that question mark. It's just right now because we're not into it. We're not into the season yet. We're not going to know. I think the linebacking core has been relatively quiet in a sense, but not in a bad way. I think they're locking in with some of these offensive linemen and taking some pressure off of that D lineman to get home. And then on offense, I think Salinatro is definitely his comfortability and the way that he's progressed through this scrimmage. I think he showed a lot of strides drive per drive. I think that there's a definite greatness coming out of that running back room. A group of hungry people that have different running styles. The receiving core is going to be all right. The problem is you're going to have to give Salinatro and Robinson time to get him the ball or get their wide receivers the ball. You can't, and it goes back. I guess the only thing that is a question mark for me right now on the offensive side is that offensive line is going to have to get it together with protection, or it's going to be a very long season. As you said, those white jerseys will get very green very quick.
Mm-hmm. They struggled last year with protection as they went with 4 of the 5 starters on last year's offensive line freshmen. Those 4 guys are returning. We'll see.
And that was a little bit of a
That's how Maurice Brown jumping off sides.
little Canadian football route there. It looked like he come running from about 5 yards back to start that route.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the offensive line, and they seem to be very good in the run blocking, which has been a problem at times in past years. So if they can get the protection down, I think it's going to be it'll give the quarterback room a little bit more time to breathe.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Oh, not like that.
Yeah, it's.
And that was
He's starting to break down here. It's Jordan Aldridge.
And who else was with him? Nah.
Rising sophomore, another one of the Wheeling Park guys. Another one of the Wheeling Park guys that burst onto the scene here at Bethany.
And I mean, he come off that edge quick.
Mm-hmm. You guys put some pounds on in the offseason as well, getting his body more trained to be a collegiate athlete. But that trio they brought over from Wheeling Park, man, they're contributing early. Talking about Jermaine Snodgrass, Jordan Aldridge, and Devon McWhorter. McWhorter last year was able to start in the slot. Snodgrass eventually took over the middle linebacker position a season ago. And has been the incumbent starter this year as well.
So you got to ask me. I'm going to ask you. What do you think the biggest takeaways from what we've seen thus far? Let's go with the defensive side.
I'm interested to see just the final 11 that they put out there because I no, not for a second do I think that these 11 right now are going to be the 11 that they carry over into the spring. I think there's still a lot of competition brewing out a lot of spots, specifically the safety spot.
Mm-hmm.
And as you mentioned, this linebacking core. I mean, these are 3 linebackers coming back that are playing right now that didn't play snaps last year. There's 1 linebacker on the sideline right now for the Bison, Treasure Owens. Well, my opinion is the most talented guy in the room. He's got to be able to get on the field. So he's dealing with his own personal matters here, but
a delay of game call will a little bit of a personnel issue. There were missing a lineman on the way to start this drive.
Tough enough to block with 5 linemen, man. Let alone 4.
Oh.
At times some missed tackles.
And you'll get that 5 yards back from the penalty there. So we got the green side. Now, what would you say on the end?
We'll see. Dodger Vickers limp over to the green sideline, is not able to put much pressure.
He's holding up there
on that left knee.
But so let's go on the offensive side. What are some takeaways that you've seen today?
Xavier Morris trying to stand out there at the receiver position. There's a host of freshmen that,
That was a big hit.
Somebody just got table turned. More about the receiver position. There's a host of freshmen that they brought in at receiver that they're expecting to come in and compete right away, and they're competing with each other, and they're competing with the incumbent guys as well. But they got to find out, how this rotation is going to go at receiver because they've got different kinds of receivers, and I think that's for the first time in a long time. It's a good thing to have, some versatility at that spot.
And a healthy competition.
Salanetro stepping up, hits the check down. Morris, another first down. Xavier
lowers
Morris.
his shoulder.
That time a violent finish from Morris. And Morris has had a day. It's been a friendly target. A lot of jawing going down there on the field now after that finish as the white jersey's trying to give this defense something to be sick about. Salanetro. Screen pass. Daniel Thomas tries to make something happen.
Oh, he
Makes
made somebody miss.
They don't get down the right sideline.
Oh, my. Ankles are way back here at the 40. And that really awoke the white sideline and the white players.
Yeah.
There's a lot of life coming out of that side right now.
Boy, and that time it's like 2 guys playing tag in a phone booth. He's able to make something shake.
And as the clock continues to wind, Salinatro again just looks confident here, even
Tried
there.
to check it down to Stoneman, but boy, is he big number 40, man. Nathan Rouse has popped to this point on film. Pad level was an issue for him early on in camp, from what I was able to tell. But it looks like he's playing with a lower center of gravity, and it's a big, strong, physical kid. I definitely think has the ability to contribute right away for this defensive line, potentially at that 3-tech spot or that nose tackle position. Salinatro again, quick pass. That time, ball way outside.
Yeah, again, the miscommunication there between receiver and quarterback.
It's one of the rare times we've seen Daniel Thomas getting to go out there with Salinatro. Thomas hasn't been practicing regularly. Not able to get that timing down with Salinatro. But I'd love to see them attack this seam. That time ball deflected.
And guess who?
Big number 9 too. Bryce Rohrball.
He just brings a different type of mentality with the way he plays football.
Yeah, he pops too, man. Another guy that just stands out. That time they tried to go a little slant flat combo. Tried to get the ball out in the flat to Surron Smith. That'll lead to another flipping of the field, and we'll see sophomore Marquise Robinson go back out there with the offense.
And there's another thing you'd love to see out of the young secondary room. Vickers injured during that series, and every one of them came off the field, came straight down to where he was being looked at by the athletic trainer, and just made sure that he was okay. He seems to be it's gingerly on that knee.
Rob
so
Taylor again spinning out of a tackle.
You probably want to guess his day's done.
Yeah.
No use in having something happen later on.
Almost certain. Probably won't see him until the calendar year flips. Because they've got a couple practices left here. They'll go all the way up until November the 6th, and then no team activities until after the new year. So.
And that's Bethany as a whole, actually, correct?
Yep.
You guys will be out of here at the 21st, and we'll come back to the 17th of January.
Yep. Robinson able to find Rob Taylor in the flat. Taylor making a guy miss, breaks a tackle. Taylor getting outside. Rob Taylor down the right sideline. Rob Taylor losing a little juice there at the end. He was run out of bounds by Dante Taylor.
Did he just stiff arm 3 guys into each other? Is that what I saw?
Household name in the year 2020. My strong prediction, Rob Taylor.
Wow, that's and we've been talking about him all day. The running style, get him to the outside. That one, it's a pass that Robinson really stayed in. And
watch Karan Foster, number 83, isolated here on this right side here. See if they'll try to get him a look. Another one of their big talented freshmen at the receiver spot. We'll go to Taylor again. Taylor finds a crease. Taylor gonna get into the end zone for a Bison touchdown.
That's
Rob Taylor.
2 plays. 2-play Taylor right there. I mean, it was a pass, and then he finishes it off with a beautiful run.
Yeah, Rob Taylor been spectacular on that drive for the Bison. It'll be interesting to see once they get into competition against other teams, just how they plan on using some of these young guys.
Mm-hmm.
And the big benefit is about having, the freshmen, they're inexperienced, but there's no film on them throughout the conference.
No.
So every time, they're seen, it'll be for the first time.
Now I'm interested here with 2:35 left to go, and what would presumably be pretty much the end of this scrimmage. Are we going to see that, as I asked in the first period, are we going to see this 2-minute drill, or are we going to see a faster-paced offense for this final 2 minutes to try to get some work on that from the defensive side as well?
Yeah, tempo.
Or are we going to just go, because I'm assuming we're going to get a kickoff here, right? Since there was a score, or are we just going to flip? I can't. It looks like the offense is just going to trot out there. A lot of good, though, on both sides of the ball to take away.
Yeah.
A lot of good film.
Yeah, defensively they've been pretty solid. So we'll see Jaron Robinson, the freshman, come back out. He's had a rough first outing.
And I think a lot of that's still probably learning the offense as a whole and realizing it's a faster-paced game, high school to college.
That time, nothing there. At D-line, Jordan Aldridge able to make another play.
Run by number 1, Reeves. Tackle by number 17, Aldridge.
Interesting to see if Robinson can try to push the ball down the field here a little bit. Something we haven't seen much out of him to this point. Robinson. Ball nearly picked. That time it was Khalil Jordan breaking on the football, sophomore linebacker out of Florida.
He would have been gone.
Yeah, it would have been a house call. Could have ran all the way back to Florida.
And then back, maybe.
Bring up third down for Jaron Robinson. The Bison offense. Trips to the right of the formation. Robinson's flanked by a back, and he's got Tariq Drain isolated to the left. Robinson looking, throwing. Robinson intended for Drain.
And it'll be picked.
It is.
Pass picked off by number 10, Reginald Davis.
Reginald Davis with the pick. Another Florida boy.
And that was you can't.
That time he had him.
Yeah.
That time the initial hit was able to draw the ball loose, and at that point it's tip drill. Something they go over every day. And the defense once again turning this offense over.
And Reginald Davis, I mean, they're there to take advantage of his opportunity.
Boy, it's been some frustration for this Bison offense as a whole to this point.
So I'm assuming we'll probably see Salinatro come back out.
Yeah, they're trying to work some 2-minute here. That's what it looks like.
And head official Steve Thompson will come over and let the And again, that young secondary just really is the brightest spot that you can notice just from plain view of this scrimmage so far for the defense. But that and that defensive line, just getting after people.
Salinatro, it's Colton Stoneman making a man miss. Stoneman. Another violent finish, Colton Stoneman. More on Colton Stoneman. I really think he's has the ability to dictate just how good they can be offensively because they're able to stay in positive down and distance and get themselves in the third manageable. The full play repertoire is still at your disposal with this quick game.
And again, Salinatro has this offense really clicking kind of up, and there's going to be a penalty there on this far sideline.
Yeah, it was a late hit. That time Salinatro able to get it out to McWhorter on a quick screen. But more about this offense. If they're able to find balance offensively, I think they'll be fine. Salinatro, once he eases in, has shown the ability that he can lead you to drives and points.
And there's a lot of poise in that. Again, I didn't see it at the beginning of the scrimmage, but it just as he's come out, every drive that he's come out, he gets a little bit more comfortable.
That's the thing that they're trying to, saddle in though. Is you can't afford slow starts in the real games.
No, you can't, and especially with as competitive as the PAC is, you cannot afford to have the first quarter without something happening. And again,
that ball behind. Trying to get to Daniel Thomas there on the slant route. Ball ended up being behind. B trips to the right of the formation for the Bison. Xavier Morris isolated to the left by himself. Colton Stoneman inside. Stoneman finds a hole. Stoneman rumbling, fumbling, bumbling all the way down inside the Bison 10-yard line and another flag.
Are they going to call a hold over there?
Damn the hold. Colton Stoneman.
That, that's another household name.
Get used to hearing that name for the next couple of years. I mean, you've seen it in
Just
practice.
kept the legs moving, too.
Think about it. As generic as it gets. No gloves, black socks, no visor, no nothing. Just a guy that's
I'm
ready
expecting
to
to
put
see
his face in it.
I'm expecting to see a neck roll out there.
That's Nathan Rouse's style. Big number 40 wears the neck roll. Part of his intimidation factor. But I love the patience on the run from Stoneman. Doesn't get to stop top speed right away. Does a nice job pressing the hole. And then when he does, finally able to get up in there. Salinatro again. Bison now on the fringe of the red zone here. Salinatro, delayed handoff. It'll be to Stoneman. Stoneman finds another lane. And then we get another first down.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice that the eagerness to tackle Stoneman isn't all the way there compared to the way it is with the other running back because they know when you go try to put your hands
he's
on
a little
big number
bowling
34,
ball.
you're going to get a mouthful. Salinatro again. Salinatro, deep ball, skyrocketing. Daniel Thomas able to come up with it in the back of the end zone.
Touchdown by Danny Thomas.
And a beautiful ball. Great catch.
Someone just yelled out from the sideline, you're down 39 points. As that put the score to 69-30.
With 59 seconds left to go here in this half. Two halves really. All Bison defense in that first majority of that first period. Really been more competitive on through the second one. And Salinatro had to adjust the
field goal, no good. From John McCardle. We're back to the Salinatro touchdown. Another beautiful pocket for Salinatro to throw out of. Does a nice job putting the ball in that back pylon. I said that pack pylon.
Back.
That back pylon for Daniel Thomas to be able to corral it.
And just a small window. But that was all they needed. And as you said, that brings the score to 69-36 with 59 seconds left to play here at Bison Stadium.
Homecoming 2020 weekend here.
And I hate to keep bringing it up, but I'm looking over here at Vickers, and he just doesn't look happy. I can say that much.
I can't imagine he'd be happy after going down here, but a lot of time left till the games start to count. Marquise Robinson will come back on.
Jamal Moore down here getting a little head start on the push-ups owed by the DBs today.
Robinson inside handoff, big hole, and a first down run. That time, it's number 6. Number 8, Amos Porter. Another freshman. See the offense moving with some tempo here. Robinson looks, throws, got Foster.
Big catch.
That's a nice job by Foster. And that's what they want to see out of Karan Foster, using all 6'2" of that frame. Able to stretch his arms out and corral that one. And Robinson's got the offense moving here.
Mm-hmm. He's got to be watching the clock a little bit.
Robinson, Foster again.
Good, get it out of bounds.
Tap.
Good job.
Comeback route. And Foster's going up against no scrub here. He's lined up against Keon Thompson. That's the starting corner on this football team.
Well, not just that. That's a great pass from a young quarterback who realizes the first down, stop the clock, but then as soon as the ball's set, it's gonna wind again. That ball there, you get it right to the sideline, little toe tap. Now you have a little bit of time to get in, maybe maybe 3 or 4 plays that you planned to use.
Foster again trying to come up with it, that time a little bit out of his catch radius as they're trying to work that comeback over there on the white sideline.
18.3 seconds. The Bison have about 44 yards for a touchdown. That would be the 44 yards for a score. Would really cement this second half of today's scrimmage on the positive for the white side. So
Robinson looking, throwing, another sideline shot, that time wide again. Intended for Karan Foster.
And I think we found who Robinson's favorite target is on this drive. I think that's the last 4 or 5 passes in a row that have gone that direction. So he obviously has a matchup he likes.
Well, they're trying hard to get Foster involved. This is another one of those freshman cats. The big frame, like we mentioned, different type of receiver that they have brought in. A lot more size at the receiver position this time around. Robinson again. Robinson, deep shot, double move, intended for Foster. He'll come up with it. He
caught that.
It'll be out of bounds. That time, they set that call up with the previous 2 calls. Come back, go.
Now this will bring up 4th down for the Bison. And it's interesting. You wonder if it's an all go here. And you just chucking.
We'll see. Robinson looking. Robinson eludes a guy. Robinson looking, throwing. Robinson deep down the field. Picked off. Danny Gilbert.
That'll be number 2.
Second pick of the day for Gilbert.
And that'll be how we wrap things up.
That is how we're going to wrap things up here from the first annual green and white scrimmage here from Bison Stadium.
It's been my pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. Throw back in the booth.
You know, it was nice. It's been a while. I think these headphones haven't changed. Shout out to Joe Dumas for having the same equipment, so I was pretty comfortable. But yeah, I think a lot of great takeaways here. Some things that are going to have to be cleaned up, before we get to the spring. But I got to do a shameless plug now for all of you out there listening. If you haven't yet, check out Dingo Talk on YouTube. Hit subscribe and like. There's a couple new shows coming out here. Malik Ellis' show's out this week currently. Dr. Rodenberg's going to be on the show we're going to do the interview this week. It'll come out next Saturday. And then there's a student show for the student athletes coming. So a lot of good things coming from the calm side of Bethany College. Keep doing what you do. You know I'll be listening.
Yes, sir.
But I'm gonna get running. So
I'm gonna get running too. Your final here from Bison Stadium. Green 76, white 36.
green shirts, baby.